Hey guys, and welcome back to the Engage Your Passion podcast, or we like to say the EYP podcast. Today, I am loving this topic. We have gotten so many inquiries from directors, parents, students. It's part of our Monetizing Your Brand series, but we're going to focus on scholarships. How to best attract scholarships. Notice how I said attract scholarships, not apply. By showing your brand worth or showing you and what value you bring, you'd be surprised of how many scholarships will follow you. Now, yes, there is an application part, but we're going to kind of get more into that later in the show.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome back. Hello and welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hello and welcome back to the Engage Your Passion podcast.
It's time to engage your passion.
Hello and welcome back to the Engage Your Passion podcast, or we like to say the EYP podcast. My name is Tony.
I'm Sarah.
And together we are Tony and Sarah. Well, welcome back, guys. It's been exciting. I think one of the things I wanted to say was thanks for the support. It's been really great to see people finding value in what we have to say. If you guys are new to the podcast, my name is Tony Smith and my beautiful wife, Sarah Nave Smith, and we are in the arts and entertainment industry. We are award-winning producers, Emmy-nominated, things of that nature. But what the point was, we have our struggles and still have our challenges. And this podcast is really to help aspiring artists with tips, tricks, resources, and things of that nature to, one, have the courage to pursue a career in the industry, especially with the new normal going on, but two, to kind of have a little bit of help. And we work with a lot of colleges and high schools and community theaters, as well as our corporate clients, and we find we get a lot of questions on this topic. So just wanted to kind of make sure that this is a platform with everything going on for us to do that. And
I'm so glad you said that, because I was going to make sure we did that, because I know
Okay, cool.
We've been promoting it more, and so I'm sure we have more followers that are starting from here. So I suggest you guys go back to the beginning and listen. We talk season 1.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about a little bit about why we're doing this and
Right.
shared our journey.
A little bit about our story. Yeah.
And then we had 2 awesome spotlights, and then this season we had another one.
And spotlights are our guests, our celebrity industry professional guests. So
So sometimes we'll have guests who are going to help dive deeper into our topics, and then we're going to have spotlights where they kind of share their story and stuff like that. So and then on our social, we're also talking about like what engaging our passion means for us, and we want to hear what it means for you guys.
Yeah.
So go follow us on social, and if you're watching, you can click all the links
Right.
here.
If not, adamsdavy.com.
Yeah.
So,
and if you're on the podcast just listening, they're in our show notes. So or adamsdavy.com.
today we are talking about, we're going to kind of review what we've done before a little bit and then focus. So today's topic is about how to monetize your brand and doing that with scholarships. So this is really this one's towards our high school listeners, directors, and parents, and also, which people don't realize, our undergrad collegiate listeners as well, because there are scholarships even when you're a freshman, sophomore, and juniors in college that you can still get towards your education. And most people kind of, once you're in, they kind of go, okay, we're done. And that's just not the case. So that's one of the things we wanted to talk about today.
We interviewed Nicole, Tony's sister. She was our spotlight a couple weeks ago, and she told a whole story about having to keep her scholarship.
Yeah.
So it's
right. It's not just about getting
once
it.
you get it, you have to stay there and keep it. You can always lose your scholarships.
Right.
So kind of just diving deeper, but let's review real quick.
Yeah, so these are just 5 quick tips on how you as a student or an athlete or an artist can start monetizing your brand during this new normal, even as a high school or collegiate or even beyond. We do this exact same thing with our corporate clients, but we're kind of like breaking it down to smaller parts for this podcast. So number 1 is show your value. And people go, okay, well, am I valuable? How do I show that? One of the things, we did a bachelor class 2 weeks ago with a school in Virginia, and it's amazing. 1, what is your value? 2, the thing that got me that was kind of interesting, people, even though they were very talented, did not realize that they were valuable. So I would even say a little bit of mental health isn't part of that, is, know that you're valuable and take that value and take it forward too. And let the world see it. And I think a little bit of like Matt, he was our first spotlight. He was one of the original cast members in Spring Awakening. And his thing was, he had to get his head on straight before his career went anywhere.
Yeah.
And so I think just showing your value and knowing that you are valuable.
Yeah. Next is to create and just publish content. You have to, that's how you get noticed, and people, right now, the big way to do that is social media. But
YouTube and stuff like that.
you can start a podcast, but you just have to kind of show what you do.
So that you're still around.
Yeah.
I mean, that you're not, you didn't get lost in this void of, what's going on, live entertainment, virtual entertainment. Just let people know, hey, I'm still around. Even if it's just reaching out. I mean, we're doing this with our friends, just reaching out and saying, hey, how you doing? Right. And starting the conversation, what are you doing? Because everybody's asking that, what are you doing? And then letting people know. And that's something you don't need any money for, and it's just basically, it's a tip right there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, and I know this isn't our focus, but just so you guys know, a lot of people right now with everything going on in the world, especially in what we do, they feel like they can't perform. There's, we found out, about Broadway's closed through at least the spring.
Yeah, one of our shows on Broadway got canceled as well.
Yeah, so they feel helpless, but you can put out there, like, go sing and post it. I mean, people are singing on TikTok. Like, if they can do it, you can do it too.
Yeah, and I will say this: I was reading. I did a marketing seminar, a virtual seminar this week, and one of the things they were saying, and this is something I even have to learn. Don't worry about the polish. It does not have to be perfect these days. People are not expecting full production Hollywood videos. One of the CEOs on this, was saying, hey, I was making videos in my backyard, and they even, more people were watching that than our, big advertisement video. So just, put the content out there and stay consistent, because the consistent's going to give you the confidence, which is then going to make you even more consistent. Just keep doing that.
That's from last week.
Yeah, it is. Well, no, okay. And then our third tip here is look at ways to fund your career with scholarships versus loans. And we're going to come back to this as we go, but one of the things that there is a skill to the scholarships. It's not just luck and how good or how accomplished you are. My mother, my father, myself, my sister, my daughter, my niece, my 2 nieces, my aunts, I think there's 3 generations, and between 10 and 12 of us all received full ride scholarships to school. And we had a good training from my mom, who was a world-class Olympic athlete, and what she learned from the sponsors and how to present your value, she taught to all of us. So for 10 individuals getting full ride scholarships to school, I mean, we'd like to think our family's all that, but there is a way to show that value, and we're going to give you some tips on that.
Awesome. Sponsors and marketers.
Yeah.
just it goes beyond getting that scholarship, but finding people that do see your value and posting all of that and getting people to kind of back you in a way.
Who believe in your, who believe in your vision. And you'd be surprised of how many people will show up if, and I always say, they will show up if you show out. Meaning, let them know, hey, I'm doing a music series for the next 6 weeks. Would you mind giving away a free microphone from your sound company? And I'll send that, and I'll spot you in every episode or whatever, some type of partnership. You'd be surprised at how many people are out there wanting to get their products and services out there and would love to work with you. It's just really, when it comes right down to it, is just having the courage to ask.
Yeah, you just have to kind of, it's kind of like I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. And like if you want to push stuff on YouTube, there are people, and sometimes it's not always with like cash money, but they'll give, hey, here, try my product and promote it, and then you can do a dance video or a Broadway style type video and say this video is sponsored by whatever.
And people these days, they know. It's like if you say, hey, I want to thank the folks at Adams Davy for helping us put this together and their support. It helps everybody. So it's just that's another way of thinking about that. And I think last is becoming an affiliate and having affiliates. And really, what the fancy word affiliate just means is it's fancy networking. It's digital networking. So let's use that microphone and said, hey, that's a great microphone. They sounded amazing. I was looking for a microphone, so let me do that. And when someone goes and purchases that microphone, the provider says, hey, thank you for recommending me. I'm going to give you 20, 30, 40% of that, of the funds on that because you recommended me. And really, the thing that is great with affiliates is a lot of times it's like, even Oprah, my favorite things. That's pretty much the same thing. It's just with affiliates these days, it's on a kind of a digital thing. It's like, hey, I love this book, or I love this spatula. I mean, it has all. I don't know.
I mean, you'd be surprised what there are affiliates on. I mean, you can take courses. There are affiliate, like, promote this course that you're taking. There's affiliates for that. There's brand affiliates. I mean, you can even set up your own Amazon
affiliate things. There's apps.
So.
I think the big thing too with affiliates, and this is our experience, just be transparent with what you're doing. I think that's one thing, because there may be, affiliates, they're just trying to make money. Well, yeah, but it should be authentic. I mean, I would not back a brand or a product that you don't believe in just to make money. I mean, because people will see through it, and then it just defeats the whole purpose, because what it's about is engaging your passion, not just trying to make money. So that's the number 5. So those are 5 quick tips on just how to monetize your brand. And today we're going to focus on the sponsorship and sponsorship side. So how do you want to start?
Well, first I want to say, like, if you are a parent, and let's say you do have a performing artist, but you also have a son who's into sports, all of these tips are going to be really helpful. So this is not just arts and entertainment. We can, my nephew's really into baseball, and he's a little young for all of this now, but it's something my sister in 5 years will start thinking about. So it's universal.
Yeah, I mean, the way this works is across the board. We're just going to focus a little go deeper dive into the arts, entertainment, and lifestyle. So if you're an influencer, makeup, singer, dancer, visual artist, we were talking to a very famous visual artist just a little while ago about his career, and he was saying he had wished he had this information back when he had started. I mean, this gentleman has been on, Ellen, and he was on Jimmy Fallon and all that, but he was saying, this is the information that I would really need to kind of move forward, especially during now. So even if you're, Ellen DeGeneres ready versus just starting out, the information still is relevant.
Yeah. So the first thing is the application.
Yeah.
If you always have to apply for these, a lot of them are done online now. These days, I remember you used to have to get the form and mail it.
Fill it out, mail it.
Yeah.
Like those when the dinosaurs ruled and we were cavemen and women. But for the young people now, it's usually an online application. But there are some scholarships. There are some college scholarships that they still require you to mail it in. I'm like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they actually do. So the big thing with the application is, and really the application for me, in my opinion, the application is your value statement. That's what it is. It is your quote unquote resume, your demo reel, your headshot, but it's asked in a different way. So one of the things I would say is if you do not have your media assets together, part one, having your headshot or a photo of you, if you're sports, an action shot or an action video or a demo reel if you're a performing artist, or samples of your influencer content if it's YouTube or social media, having that ready to go, and it's basically your digital media assets. Having that ready to go will help you fill out this application a lot quicker, because usually with the arts and entertainment side, and even the sports, they're going to be asking, I want a photo, we want to see what you look like, we want access to your social media. They're asking that now. They're going to check up on that, and they're going to ask for your experience. If you have your headshot, resume, demo reel, and all that stuff ready to go, that's less time you have to go searching through mom and dad's or even directors' photos and pictures. Have all that ready ahead of time. So when that application comes, you're just, in some cases, dragging and dropping your information right in. And last thing I'd say about the application is, and this is for moms and dads too, and the students, but mom and dad too. Read the entire thing before you start filling it out. Mm-hmm. It's I don't know if it's just a fad or whatever, or I don't know, maybe I said that wrong. Filling out the application correctly the first time goes a long way. A lot of times, at least the schools that I know I was applying for, if you do not fill this out correctly, you would not be considered. So just missing a check mark or missing some information is not worth losing $20, $30, $50, $100,000 in scholarships because you didn't take the time to read it. Yeah. I don't know what you have to say.
No, yeah, it's one of those things that I've done it too, but you go because you think it's the same stuff, and then you're like, oh, I don't have that, I'll come back to it, and then you forget, and so you just have to, if you read it and you can make a list of everything that this particular application is asking for, and then you can go collect everything and then do it from there. It's way more beneficial.
Yeah, and then you can stay consistent as well on all of your documentation. It's like, oh, that photo, or this one. And if you do that ahead of time, that's a way to do it. And we can talk, and we can put some resources in the notes for that.
Yeah, I can only compare your application for scholarships as your resume for a job interview.
Right.
If it is not professional looking and it is not put together with everything that they're needing to see, with references and all of that, then they're going to put you over here in the other stack. Right. So it is your first impression. Even with scouts and people coming to see you, if you can't look good on paper.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, because some people look really good on paper and then they meet them.
Yeah.
And then the other way is maybe look really good in people and then great in person. So you want to be that person. You want to be those peeps. Second would be the essay. There's always, well, I would say this, every scholarship that we've worked with our clients, helping them get those essays out and things of that nature, I've always said this, your perspective. And your story. No one can tell your story. Someone when I was younger told me everyone in them has a book in them, has at least one book, because your life story is a journey. Make it authentic. Make it truly authentic to your life and put life lessons in there. What did you learn? What did you think in one place, and what moment, what challenge, what encounter changed your perspective, and put that in there. There are so many, you got that research paper and people are just, okay, it's a little harder now, but go to the internet, copy that paragraph, go there. Okay, that sounds good. Take the time. I don't know, what do you have to say? Yeah.
I agree. Sometimes it's hard, especially with if you're in that high school age. A lot of students that I work with, they feel, unless they've had a real hard struggle life, they don't necessarily know that. So I would suggest, if you're a teacher or if you're a parent, to do a little work, not in necessarily the writing of the essay. I mean, they should be learning how to do that in school. If not, it's not an ad, but Grammarly's helped me.
Yeah, right.
So, the actual writing of it, but coming up with how to, I would sit and talk with them and remind them of the things that they've been through. Even the smallest, like when, your friend hurt you, just kind of diving in, or when you didn't get that role, what did it like, and try to bring up those emotions so they can find their perspective and what has happened to them in life. Because it's hard, like, they're like, I haven't been through anything.
And I think that's, and that's one thing too. Two different things just came out when you said that. I think the first one, I'll say, with your essay, I'm going to kind of go back to that branding aspect, having your digital media assets. Your essay is an extension of your bio.
Yeah.
It's you're telling the listener, or whoever's listening, what your why is, what your what is, how you hope to do it, and in a lot of essays, how associating yourself with this organization, college, nonprofit will help you further that. That's one way to look at it. The second one is, this is what I hope my what is, and what I hope my why is, and what I hope to do, and then associating myself with this organization, nonprofit, or academia, school will then show me and reveal to me my true meaning in life. So coming at it from your bio, which basically is it's a short, or it's a biography, it's a short bio or a short summation of your career so far. That's the first part, and then the second part. I know I'm talking long, but the second part was talking with this seminar where one of the gentlemen, he is I'm not going to mention his name, very famous artist, but was sitting there in the process going, well, nobody wants to, they were saying, hey, you should write a book. And he was like, I don't really think people want to read that. I was going, are you kidding? Are you kidding? So it's like, don't underestimate. Thank you. Don't underestimate yourself. Be who you are. Be as authentic as you can, and that essay will show that. I mean, and I think, again, with us as a brand, for the people for this podcast and what we're doing, having that branded, having your brand available is going to help with all of this, because obviously with your application you're going to have all that stuff there. With your essay now, your bio, and then being able to extend from that. But I think if anything on that essay, don't forget to mention your why, and don't forget to mention your what. And then the how is what will fill up the rest of that essay.
Yeah, and I will tell you right now, every single one of you have been through something. We're all going through something right now. Yeah. And so writing about your perspective and having that why, and why do you still want to pursue whatever it is you're wanting to pursue? Because the world is different than it was 8 months ago. And so the fact that you're in this place and still wanting to move forward and writing your perspective from that is huge.
Yeah, and just to flip everything on its head too, when people say, well, I haven't been through anything, we're not talking about tragedies and lost loved ones and being hurt by boyfriends and girlfriends, and it can be a positive thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love going to I love babysitting my little sister because we have that bonding moment. I mean, I don't know if that's true for many people, but I mean, that's an option. Or, one of my best friends is so inspirational to me because of this, that, or the other. Or my dad is so amazing. I see how hard he works for us. My sister, my grocer always says hi when I walk in and makes me feel good. Those are the things those are experiences. They don't all have to be negative. Use the positive part.
You can, if you got an amazing part in a show, that is an experience in itself. And you can write. You don't always have to come at it from a negative. People really want to hear positive things because I think we all want to be surrounded
Uplifted,
by that joy and positivity. So,
which is a great lead into your performance, or we like to say you're digital proof. One of the things that's so funny is it's a kind of a side message. There's so much truth in advertising, and it's like, and that's kind of like, yeah. But I think with the performance, people can say, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this, I've done that, but then you've got to prove it. I think one of the casting directors I work with, he's out of New York. I think he said he stopped looking at resumes 10 years ago. It's like, I don't care what you've done. I want to know what you're doing. So he would do a self-tape. He would ask people to do self-tapes. It didn't matter if you'd worked with Meryl Streep or if you'd worked with, Tom Cruise, and you're basically reaching out, trying to be in one of his movies that he's casting. He didn't care. It's like, I want to see what you have now. So digital proof. And I think with that, with your performance, and that could be if it's modeling or singing or dancing on screen or doing or a sports reel, highlight reel. One, get your training. Get the training. Be the best that you can be, and prepare for when you actually capture that content for the camera. Again, I'm going to push it back to the branding. It's still there with your demo reel and your highlight reel. It's all there. But I guess the word would be deliberate in what you do. I'm going to sing that song that I always sing, and that's great. I'm going to dance that dance that I always look good doing. Don't take it for granted, because this is the opportunity, especially now with the video content that most people are going to be looking for. It needs to be on point. Which we can go into another podcast, but how's your lighting? What cameras are you using? What the space looks like? What colors are you wearing on screen? Is it edited? Do they want it raw or no edits? Some people do, because they don't want you messing with the quality. They want to see it raw. Those are more technical aspects that are you can go on our site and see that stuff. But with the performance aspect, rehearsal, practice, deliver.
Document.
Yes,
you need
that's true.
to document
So
everything
smart.
you're doing, because and this is something that I'm actually envious of the kids now, because every performance is, taped almost, and then you have to, if you're doing these performances, I think we actually have talked to some directors about doing this, because I know it's a hard concept for parents and kids to understand, but the copyright stuff, like if you're going to do a performance, you have to get the right permissions to be able to get the video, to be able to use it in your there's a lot that kind of goes into it. And maybe that's something we can put on our notes to discuss.
Yeah, because we've had a lot of people asking about that. Actually, we had one of the ladies of the district of one of the school districts that we work with. She was saying there's so many people having trouble with copyright. We even had some copyright stuff when we were posting stuff on our Instagram. We're like, oh yeah, that was a little long. Just because we know it doesn't mean we don't come. That it doesn't happen to us. And I think, getting to know what you're, documenting everything, and then that's a really good idea. We should probably do something with, just how copyrights work, mechanical licenses and stuff like that.
So, but Oh, I want to go off on
Yeah,
a
no,
tangent.
sorry.
We would be here all day. But in your performances, document what you're doing. Make sure you have the permissions. Usually the director, producer, whatever you're in can kind of at least guide you. Usually there are licensing with that they have to purchase,
Right.
and they can tell you right away
Depending on what type of license. Like there was, I mean, not to digress and stop me if I go too far. There was, I'm gonna try and not mention as many names, but I'm gonna mention the content. There's a high school that came up with a brilliant idea of taking the movie Aliens and turning it into a stage musical. And it was such a great production of it. It went viral. And then the movie company came after them, and it was a debate of, well, aren't you proud of them for being so creative? And the movie company was, that's not the point. These are our characters. This is our music. This is this. And so even though it was a great, amazing thing that came out of it, full stage show of Aliens, I think I would have gone to see it. But it's just the naivete, and I mean that as just not knowing what the copyrights and what was documented. So make sure when you're presenting your information for scholarships that usually for an audition or something like that, it's not going to be publicly viewed is fine. But if you're using publicly viewed content as your submission, just double check, because you can get tapped for that.
Yeah. So, but going back to the performance, anything you're in, get pictures, get proof you were
Copies.
on the stage, we do our experiences which involve performing. If you're on set with cameras, get video, get photos of you on set, and you'll be surprised, especially if you're working with other people your age. Again, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. Hey, will you take a picture? I mean, I know
I'll take a picture.
you just have to really make sure you have all of that. You might end up with what you feel is too much, but it's never too much. You always want options.
Yeah, and I'll just put one example last, and then we can move on to the next one. My daughter, she full ride scholarship for track and field to school, and one of the things that really pushed it over the edge for her, not only getting a scholarship but a full ride. I mean, it was the room and board, education. I mean, it was a parent's dream. But being able to see her and over multiple different races, from the Junior Olympics to some state competitions to national competitions, and being able to see her in different lights. I mean, when they put that reel together, seeing how her technique and all of that is what kind of pushed it over the edge. Because you can say my time is this, but it's a bit more dramatic and exciting and emotional when you're actually watching that happen. And I think those are the things when you're basically doing that performance or showing your skill set, just to think of. Sorry.
Yep.
Okay.
After that, you gotta follow up. We see, even with us, we have some scholarship stuff. People will put in, but then they don't follow
up.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised at how many online inquiries about our brand services that I'm writing a comic book and I'd love to get some help on how to get it out there. And I'm a big comic book fiend. I won't say a fiend, but I'm a fan. And even Matt he even wrote comic books and stuff like that. And we own a couple. And so people kind of see what we've done in our success and say, hey, how do we do it too? I'd say 8 out of 10 don't respond.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And usually I get busy, they get afraid. We had one person who was really ready to publish his first book, but he got in his own way. So he had this great content, but then never pushed the button. Getting back to mental health and finding your value and being okay with it. But the follow-up, I think, and this is the thing too, the follow-up if you get the scholarship or not.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I think a lot of the follow-up why people don't is a fear of rejection.
Rejection.
And
Yeah.
we've talked a lot about especially in this industry, you're going to be rejected or told no more than you're not. So just take these scholarships more as a
precursor.
because they, as unfortunate as it is, they do have boxes that they have to check off, as far as making sure they only have so much money and they have to make sure it goes to, a certain amount of people and it's widespread across,
And they have parameters on who they need to give it to. But if you kind of push your scope and, find the places that match that match with you, hopefully that's not a concern. Because the last part with the follow-up is that is your way to network. Yeah. So let's say, I'm going to use a hypothetical situation. Let's say you go to Davy University and you apply for a scholarship and you don't get it. So you go, hey, Miss Sarah, I really appreciate the opportunity. I'll be back next year. Think of me. And who knows, 3 months later you go, hey, Miss Sarah, it was great. You remember me? I was the one who applied for the scholarship. I'm doing these amazing things now that even though I didn't get the scholarship, I learned so much from that. Check out my video on YouTube. We're really doing great now. Hey, Miss Sarah, maybe 6 months later, that experience of not getting that scholarship kind of led me into a right direction. I was able to get a scholarship at this place. If there's anything I can ever do for you, please let us know. We have that extra money that we do. What are they doing now? You'd be surprised how often that happens. You just want to stay on
people's radar, especially if it's something you want. If there's a dream school you want and it didn't happen, it doesn't mean it doesn't ever happen. It can't happen.
Right.
Yeah. We've, through talking our stories and our spotlight stories, you never know also where David's spotlight was the biggest one, but you never know who's watching and where those opportunities can come. So if you continue to follow up, if it's, if you connected with someone at, during the sponsorship or scholarship or an audition or anything, just continue to follow up. I think that's the best advice for anything. Especially if you had a coach that you really connect, don't lose touch.
You'd be surprised. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you'd be surprised. Yeah. Exactly.
Because one of the things that I find with all the scholarship, when you guys are focused on scholarships and you're looking for those, even if it's a grant or something like that, it's still all the same process. You have to present your value, and really the steps that we went over, it's just making sure that you're presenting the value, your true values, to the right people. I wouldn't say hype yourself up to being someone they're not. A lot of people do that, and most of the times we can read right through that. There's a, dare I say, there's almost a formula when you can see that kind of stuff coming in. But just be yourself, and it's just presenting your value. When you were saying the follow-up, one of the gentlemen I know, we were talking about Astroworld. It's a theme park in Houston. It's closed down now. One of the famous rap stars is trying to bring it back, but we'll see. But at that place is, I really digress there. Yeah. But one of the things that what I was getting at is one of the caricatures. So he would be the person walking, hey, would you like your picture drawn? And I'll put it in a caricature, so on and so forth. That's where he started. And his goal was to work in movies and comic books and doing all that type of thing. He followed up with a certain individual who was doing a certain thing. Long story short, he went from being a caricaturist at, I hope I said that right, at Astroworld on the side, just trying to get some people to draw, and ended up working for George Lucas and being one of the people writing, drawing and designing the new spaceships and stuff like that. Now, obviously, this, that's a quick, summary. But one of the things he said was, I followed up and let them know that I was interested. So just with that,
and follow up, goes to the last one about getting feedback. You need to get feedback, but in that follow up, ask for it, regardless. That's one thing that I don't know. I was taken back when Nicole said it. The job she has now at the Performing Arts Center. It was between her and one other person, and she asked her boss, "Why me?" And she now knows that she's a better fit. But if you know why you're chosen, because feedback if you don't get it. What did I do wrong? Or not wrong, but why didn't it work out? And then you can go adjust. I think most people get that concept. But when you do know, it builds your confidence to go back to that beginning of, how to do this from step one about showing your value. That feedback is adding to your confidence of being able to show your value in the future.
Yes. Couldn't have said it better myself. But I mean, so I think we'll let's fine tune the last things. I mean, just to wrap up, I really feel the emphasis should be on presenting your value. I think the big things when that comes out is, one, expressing your why and letting them know what that is. I think letting them know what your what is, meaning how are you going to basically execute those, what your passion is, and 3, and how you plan to do it, and having digital proof and following up. I mean, those are the basics for a successful, I guess, toolkit to present your value. If it's in scholarships, if it's for a casting, if it's for a new show, or if it's for really just starting your own podcast, show the value. And I think as we go through this, just remember that those are the things that you really want to make sure are present, so that people can, make the assessment of you and go, is this a good fit for what we're trying to do?
Yeah. Just a final question here before we do close. The world's a bit different right now. So with everything that we've talked about, what is your advice, I would say, as far as taking the tips that we've given them today, because it's about to be application time for all of that. Right. But with the world being so different, what is the advice to move forward? Do they move forward just the same as normal, or is there any tips or advice that you would say you would give to someone applying for this stuff?
Based on the success and not so successful campaigns that we've been working with our clients, the big one, I'd say just do it. Yeah. Do it. Just, I mean, what's that saying? You can reach for the stars.
You are wearing Nikes.
Oh, well, yeah. Oh, just do it. Yeah. There you go. But just do it, I guess. And, what they say, reach for the stars. And if you hit the moon, you still have an amazing view. I would say just do it. And I'm going to go back to something I even have to listen to myself. Do it so that you can get consistent, which will give you the confidence to be even more consistent. I know I've said it and it's maybe overdone, but it works. So just to finalize the wrap up, when you're going for your scholarships, you get your application, you've got that essay, whatever performance skills or the value that they're looking for. Follow up and ask for feedback if you get it or you don't get it. That way you have a benchmark to go, oh, I know what I can do to improve or not improve. To improve and not go backwards is what I meant to say, not to kind of make the same mistakes. It's like, oh, excuse me, that I get. Like with Nicole, she has this amazing job and, doing what she loves to do and is passionate about. And when it came down to it, when she asked her boss, why me? The personality and her character, right? Was it character?
Yeah, I mean, they said on paper they were identical.
Identical, like they couldn't choose between the two.
Yeah,
and what did it was
the interview, just her personality and her character and how she presented herself. They said she would work better with their team.
She took that organization into the top 100 best organizations in the world. Yeah. So, I mean, it's like, it's kind of, people know what they're looking for and they're just looking for a great match. And I think the last thing I would say on this that I find It doesn't matter if it's casting, if it's, a sports manager looking for that. Everybody is looking for a certain thing. They're just trying to find a good match. That's it. So please know that when, because you will get rejected, but when that is one step closer to a yes. It may be, it may take another 100 no's to get that yes, but when you get that yes, it's going to be worth it because you're going to know it's going to keep you consistent, to stay confident, to stay more consistent.
And I want to go back to my question with you, just on my end. Right now, no one's done this.
Right.
No one's done it like that. Like, no one has had to apply for scholarships or schools or anything like that, like this, like the time we're in. So, like you said, just do it, because everybody is in the same position. And the only way you're going to miss out is if you don't even try.
Right.
And so, and parents ask questions like, if with the world, just ask, because you'll never know.
Right, and and actually, I'm going to put into the ending thing that we were going to bring up. We've had a lot of directors for theater and arts and even sports, and we've had a number of parents and students ask us, and so it was great. We put together, we're calling it Scholar Search. Just kind of play on scholarship, but it's a Scholar Search program. And what we've done is partner with large scholarship database organizations, put our own database information in there. And we have between the two partnerships, over 100,000 scholarships that you can go into our website, go in, it is subscription based, but you can go in, put in the unique traits about you. I'm 6'2", and I was born in Kentucky, and things of that nature, left-handed, and you can search our database and it will come back with results on here are the scholarships that best match you. And from there, at least gives you a head start on, you can even say, I'm looking for $10,000, I'm looking for $50,000, and then it will match you to a number of scholarships provided they're in the database that match, that you should start and apply for. And and I think I'm excited about it, because I was hoping we had this when I was in high school, and now that we're being able to kind of expand these databases, we hope it's a feature that you guys can use. It's called Scholar Search, and you can go to the site, and it'll be launching soon.
Yeah. So, with that, I think that's a wrap on scholarships.
Yeah. So, guys, I think the one thing about this podcast, if there's information that you want us to discuss, you have any questions, please feel free. If you're, we're on iTunes, we're on Amazon Music, we're on Google Play, we're on Spotify. Just comment. We're always, always keeping up with them. We'd love to answer your questions.
Yeah, we haven't said this in a while, but please rate, subscribe,
review. Yeah, let us know. If we're giving you information, well, the good feedback is we have been giving information. At least we've been getting feedback that we have. But if there's something you want to know that we haven't discussed, please ask. We'd be happy to bring it up. If there's something that that we mentioned that you can go, well, my information's different, we'll take that too. We'll take the feedback.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If you want to submit either on social, or you can email us.
Just email us.
You can go to the website and email us there. We are planning to do a Q&A.
Yep.
So if you have any questions that you want us to answer, if you have any people you'd like us to use as spotlights or guests, or maybe not specific people, but maybe certain from certain industries that you would like us to cover. I want to talk to a stage manager versus someone, an actor,
or fashion designer. We have a lot of people plan coming to the show, from people who've been on TV shows and fashion to all kinds of things, and we'd love to hear back. I guess what we're saying is we like to make it a collaborative effort.
Engage
with us. Yes. Well, with that, we thank you for joining us today, and hope this information helped. So my name's Tony.
I'm Sarah.
Until then, engage your passion. Bye.